Alright guys, here we're taking a look at this learning target, determine if it's a function or not. So, for this one we're doing something different. You're actually going to create the functions to see if they are learning targets, or, wow, you're going to create the functions or not the functions depending on which one it is, okay? So, for the points, the idea in a function, okay, all these numbers here for the inputs need to be different. Okay, probably need some sort of pattern here to make it work. Can't write really small, so that should be 20. Okay, so I've got 1, 4, 2, 8. I'm going to write them below. 1, 4, 2, 8, 3, 12, 4, 16, and 5, 20. Okay, that's a function because every input only gives me one output. So if you want to make something that's not a function, I'll do those in red. So non-functions, functions. Okay, would be something like 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. Okay, now we've got some inputs here that are definitely not connecting, that have different outputs for the same input. Okay, that's when it's bad. Okay, so I could do like 0, 5, 3, 5. That's okay to do. 6, 10, 9, 12. Okay. To make this not a function, I'm going to have to repeat one of those inputs. So maybe I do 3 and 10. Now all of a sudden it's not a function. Okay? To make something a function, again, just make sure every input has a different output. Every different input has a different output. Saying that weird. So like that, 5, 10, and 5, 10 would still be a function. Okay? So in tables, it's kind of the same idea. Okay, if you want a table to be a function, oops, can't use blue, can I? Just make sure that you don't repeat any of your inputs. Okay? Doesn't matter how you do it. As long as they don't repeat, there's some sort of pattern, it'll work. Okay, to make them non-functions, you're probably going to want to do something where they're repeating. Now, if I just did that, it would still be a function. But if only one of them is different, then I know that that's wrong. Okay? That's the main stuff that we look for if something's a function. Okay, again, it's not a function because we see the two inputs. Okay, now in the Venn diagram, it's a lot easier to do, right? We come up with some inputs and outputs. But really what it comes down to is how we draw the arrows. So, that should have been in red. So, to make it not a function, I'd have to have one input going to 1 to 2 or more outputs. Okay, whereas if they have one input going to one output, that's okay, even if it fits the same output. It's when we have one input that goes to more than one output. Okay, now for graphs, when we draw a graph, okay, if it passes the vertical line test, right, it'll work. So if I go something like this, as long as I don't double back on myself, it's going to work. Okay, and we get functions like that. Now, if I double back on myself so that I don't that's when it's not a function. Okay? So those are the main concepts that you're looking at when you're trying to tell if it's a function or not. So yours may look different, but they need to have those same goals in mind.